What if I told you that the Indian government was so afraid of Godse's word that they banned them for almost 50 years? Yeah, you heard that right. Let me explain. When Godse was put on a trial for Gandhi's murder, he did something unexpected. He gave this massive speech in court. We're talking several hours long, over 150 pages when written down. This wasn't just, I dare it and here's why, in a few sentences. This was a full political manifesto. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The government looked at this speech and basically said, nobody can see this. They banned it completely. Under something called the Gandhi Murder Trial Act, they made sure this speech couldn't be published or distributed. Even Godse's defense lawyers' notes were restricted. Think about that for a second. In a democracy, the government suppressed the courtroom testimony of a convicted criminal for decades. The speech didn't become publicly available until the 1990s, almost 50 years later. So, what was the government so scared of? Well, they were worried that Godse's word might create communal tensions or that some people might actually sympathize with his views. Remember, this was right after partition, a time when India was already dealing with massive religious violence. The last thing the new government wanted was more fuel on that fire. But here's something even more fascinating. During the trial, Godse showed absolutely zero remorse. None. He even defended himself for part of the trial. When the judge sentenced him to death by hanging, Godse said, I have no doubt that my actions will be understood by future generations. Some accounts even say that the judges, while sentencing him to death, were impressed by how well he articulated his thoughts. Not that they agreed with him, they still sent him to the gallows, but they acknowledged he was intelligent and well spoken. This raises some really interesting questions. In a free society, should we suppress the words of criminals, even terrible ones? Does hiding their reasoning make us safer, or does it just make people more curious? And who gets to decide what parts of history we're allowed to hear? Even today, there's debate about this. Some people argue we should study and understand what drove Godse to do what he did, while others say giving him any platform, even a historical one, is dangerous. The truth is, history isn't always comfortable. Sometimes the most important stories are the ones that make us ask difficult questions. The fact that a government felt the need to hide a courtroom speech for 50 years tells us something important about the moment in history, about fear, about power, and about how nations try to control their own narratives. What do you think? Should historical documents like this be available for everyone, or are there some words that are too dangerous? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this interesting, hit the like button and subscribe for more hidden history stories.